If you are sitting there going, I just don't know how to create a course that actually sells, or maybe you have a course and it's not selling consistently or actually turning into a real business of any kind, this video is for you. And I'm so happy that you're here. I'm going to share the 4 secrets to creating a course that actually sells from real course creators. And these are people that I've helped along the way, and they're in such a variety of niches that it really proves there are 4 common denominators to creating a course that sells and doing this super successfully. So if you're excited, give it a like. Be sure to subscribe for new videos every week. This is the place to be to create a peaceful, purposeful, and profitable online education business. It is my mission in life, and I actually created a free guide just for you on the 10 steps to scale your skill set and 10x your impact without trading time for money. So you definitely want to grab that. Like I said, it's free, so I don't really know what you're waiting for. It's at the link in the description. So we're going to hear from a veterinarian, a foot juggler, yeah, for real, a doula, and fat loss coaches in this video. Let's dive in. Secret number 1. Just because you can teach it doesn't mean you should. Ulrika is a circus performer. Specifically, she is a foot juggler, and she could teach a lot of different things. And when she was kind of trying to start her online education business, she was doing just that. She was teaching everything to everyone and doing one-on-one work, and it just was a little bit tricky. This led to crazy inconsistency and not feeling like she was actually making an impact because she was only able to kind of go surface level with the people that she was supporting. The secret to creating an online program that can sell and scale is identifying one specific starting point and one specific ending point for your ideal client. We call this the 0 to hero journey, understanding where they are at their most challenged, frustrated, in pain place at that 0 state and where they want to go when they've achieved the desired outcome. So for Ulrika, she identified that her ideal client was a circus performer who had been in the industry 1 to 5 years, who was completely lost despite being super talented, but having no idea how to run a business or get consistent bookings, if any at all, and getting constant rejection. And they're seeking confidence in their ability to generate their own work and not have to rely on random talent or luck. So as she launched her program using our methodology, this is what happened. So her program was called the Selling Circus Method. She ended up enrolling 20 people. She oversold her program when she first shared it, and she generated $40,000 in revenue in just 2 weeks. And she said, I'm in tears. I've wanted this moment for such a long time. I just gifted myself the gift I wanted and needed for the last 3 years. I officially retired from my 20-year circus career. This means the world to me to stop traveling, take care of my body, and see my family and friends more. So the key here is get specific. Specific equals sales, broad equals, fill in the blank in the comments if you know. You know, if you've been here for a while. Specific equals sales, broad equals, put it in the comments. Secret number 2, simplifying your business model for scale. Not every kind of business model is set up to truly be able to scale. Why? Because there's only so many hours in the day that you can actually leverage. And so when you're attaching your time to your income, you hit a ceiling. We call it the impact or the income ceiling. So Chanel is a busy mom of 3 young kids, and family is her main focus. So working in a one-on-one setting as a doula and constantly being on call just was not sustainable for her. So she went from working one-on-one to creating a duplicatable and super impactful curriculum with her online program. So what does that model actually look like? Curriculum, coaching, and community. So you have a curriculum that your ideal clients can study on their own time without you having to trade time for money, and they can do it at their own pace. And then you have coaching that is set up in very specific ways. So you have 1 to 2, group coaching sessions per week with your ideal clients. And then you have community. Wherever you decide to set up that community, all of your clients are in one place, and it accelerates progress and growth because everyone's able to learn and lean on one another. And it's actually quite incredible when you see this come together, because when you have the right community in place, it's a super fulfilling, super impactful way to grow a business. Now, to better understand exactly how we teach this model, this is exactly what we do in our Authority Accelerator program. So if you're interested in being part of that program, just like Chanel and like Ulrika, you can apply at the link below. Be as thorough as you can with your application because it helps us better understand how we can best support you. Secret number 3, identify the true value of what you have to offer. Risha and Lucy are fat loss coaches, and when they first came to work with me, they were severely undercharging. They were spread so thin. And I just want to share with you one of their earliest results inside of our program. They're now today, $1 million business, but when they first started working with me, things looked very different. Rachel said, Lucy and I just finished our 30-day cash flow plan. We got 6 paying clients, made $9,000. Our prior highest revenue month was $1,500. You're right. It's far easier to convince one person to pay $1,000 than to convince 100 people to pay 10.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I had way more of a money mindset block than Richard did at the time too. I was like terrified of raising prices, and it was actually one of the exercises in your program I think made us actually write out, um, you know, what are all the costs that we've been through in our own journeys, like in dollar terms, to see like how much is the value worth, the transformation worth. And for Richa, it was 10 grand. There was, a number to it. For me, I spent very little on fitness because I've spent very little because I always thought, oh, I should just be able to do it. But then when I added up all the years of my life
Yes.
and all the emotional stress, because I actually had like body dysmorphia, like it was like psychologically, it was very hard. And then I asked myself, like, I spent like 10 years on this. Well, how much is 10 years of my life worth? And I'm like,
Yes.
that is more than 10 grand.
Yes.
So then I was like, oh my God, we are severely undervaluing what we bring to the table.
And when Rachel and Lucy adjusted their pricing model to really reflect the value of the outcome they were providing to their clients, they started to really generate momentum in the business. And I think the biggest thing to understand is undervaluing yourself generally comes from not understanding the value or the cost to your ideal client. So not understanding, what's it costing your ideal client to not have the help that you can provide with your program and the transformation you can provide with your program. So mentally, financially, emotionally, spiritually, whatever that may be. And when it came to Rachel and Lucy's clients, there was so much on the table. These people were forking out so much money on personal trainers and diet plans and getting the right shapewear in place to make themselves feel more confident. And, on the internal side of things, they just weren't feeling confident. They didn't have the self-esteem. So the cost was quite high to their clients. And yet they were charging less than $100 before we started working together. And they were getting clients that weren't really invested or doing the work. And therefore their results suffered as well. So by charging adequately, not only have they sold and scaled their program to $80,000 a month consistently, but they're also getting the most phenomenal client results because they know exactly who they need to attract and the type of person that's actually going to invest, not only financially, but invest their time, energy, and resources to do the work to get phenomenal results, which only further helps to sell the program more because you see so much social proof for it. Which brings me perfectly into secret number 4. Social proof is better at selling than actually being good at sales. What do I mean by that? Katie is a holistic veterinarian, and she was so burnt out by working in a traditional sense as a veterinarian that she just physically couldn't do it anymore. She needed to find another way to do what she loved. She has a huge passion for helping people with their pets. I've been able to actually meet Katie in real life and, see that passion firsthand. And so she really loved what she did, but the way that she was doing it just was not going to work for her long term, and it wasn't going to work for her health. And because Katie is a holistic veterinarian, she had some concerns about actually selling her program until she realized this.
I am not a salesperson. Like, I went into vet medicine to help and heal pets. I did not go in to sell people stuff. Like, that is
Yeah.
definitely not a strength of mine. And I know it's a thing that holds a lot of people back from jumping into like something like this. Cause I have a lot of colleagues I tell about this program and they're like, I don't sell. And I'm like, you don't have to sell. You are creating transformations for
Exactly.
people.
So getting her clients results is ultimately what has helped her sell and scale her business, because the most important thing about an online program is that if it's not good and it doesn't work and it doesn't create a transformation and take your client from that 0 state to hero state, no one's going to want to buy it. And I'll remind you of the flywheel that we always reference in terms of how our business runs and how our clients' business runs. And it's really simple. You have to start with having a great program. A program that takes people through a transformation of 0 to hero. From there, you have to sell your program. You have to get enrollments into your program. When people enroll, they need to have the transformation. They need to achieve a transformation. From there, you have really happy clients and people that are so excited to share that you are the best at this. You're the authority. And you build this sort of army of ambassadors of people who truly believe in what you do and your authority. And that leads to even more client enrollments without you having to market super hard or constantly put yourself out there. That's why social proof is so key to consistently selling a program. program. And it sounds really simple, but I am shocked by how often this is missed and people worry about all the wrong things. They don't worry about, is my program actually delivering a result? And if it's not, you might have a problem on your hands, and it might be the reason why you're not seeing consistent sales. You have to go back and figure out, how can I make this program more transformational, which is what we really focus on with our clients. Now, if this was helpful for you, I took it a step further and I created a whole playlist with each of their full stories in it. So you can check that out and hear it directly from Ulrika, Chanel, Richa and Lucy, and Katie. So be sure to check that out, the link in the description. And like I said, to really take this seriously, be sure to download my free guide on the 10 steps to scale your skill set and 10x your impact without trading time for money. Like I said, it's free. Link in the description. I don't know what you're waiting for. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to give this a like if you enjoyed it and it resonated. Be sure to subscribe for new videos every week. And if you had a light bulb, comments are my love language. So let me know in the comments below which secrets stood out the most for you and created that light bulb moment. Thank you so much for watching. Check out the playlist next, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.